performance management. Please do well to like our video on YouTube and subscribe to our channel, Wadara Consults. The concept of performance management is both strategic and integrated approach to delivering successful results in organizations by improving the performance and developing the capabilities of teams and individuals. This definition is according to Armstrong and Barron 202. Organizations embark on performance management for the purpose of improving their performance. The purpose is to improve the performance of the organization. And when you talk about this performance, we're talking about the processes and procedures which invariably will have a one-on-one correlation on the profit margin or the goal of the organization. It may be the goal is to provide, if it is not, the organization is not for profit making, if it is to render essential services, performance management will also help them to ensure improvements in their performance, as it were. In most instances, performance management is viewed as being a focus on individual employees. It focuses on individual employees. However, it has been established that performance management also applies to teams. It applies to teams, not just individual employees, and the entire organization, as the individual performance forms the group performance. The entire organization. The concepts of performance management which has been discussed as opined by Armstrong define performance management as a systematic process of improving the individual, team, and organizational performance, encapsulating the three variables mentioned here: individual performance, the team, and the entire organization. It is a means of getting better results by understanding and managing performance within an agreed framework of plan goals. Talk about plan goals. Plan goals, standards, and competency required. Plan goals, standards, and competency required. Processes exist for establishing a shared understanding about what is to be achieved. So what to be achieved must be understood, must be clear, must be communicated, and must be concise, for managing and developing people in a way that increases the probability that it will achieve in the short and long term. It focuses on people's intention on doing the right things by clarifying their goals, and it is driven by the line manager. Performance management It's an objective question. It's driven by the line manager, line managers. This is for those writing CIPM exam. Some view performance management as a continuous process of improving performance by setting individual and team goals which are aligned to the strategic goals of the organization. So it is also continuous. Remember, it is handled by the line managers. As such, it is continuous. It is not a one-off thing. To ensure that the set out objective of the organization are achieved. Armstrong defined performance management as a systematic process for improving individual, talked about this, team and organization performance. It is a means of getting better results by understanding and managing performance within an agreed framework of planned goals, standard and competency required. Processes exist for establishing a shared understanding about what is to be achieved, so it must be clear, written, and not just that, it must be communicated, constantly communicated. Remember, performance management is a continuous activity. Therefore, it must always be communicated for individual, team, and even the entire management, the entire organization, I beg your pardon, to pursue in order to meet the goal set out. It focuses on people's attention on doing the right things by clarifying the goals. It is driven by the line managers. Very important. Line managers. Aims of performance management. The overall aim of performance management is to establish a high performance culture. Performance culture. In which individuals and team take responsibility for continuous improvement of business processes and their skills and contributions within a framework provided by effective leadership. So this must be anchored under effective management. So the aim is to establish high performance culture which individuals and teams take responsibility. How? They need to strengthen, enhance the business processes. An individual will have to enhance their skill. The company can do this, and also individuals can undertake relevant courses, programs that would help enhance their skill for the purpose of achieving the aim of performance management. Performance management at different levels in the organization. Performance is managed at the corporate level, strategic business level, and individual level. That is the corporate level, the strategic business unit level, and individual level. Performance management at the corporate level is the primary responsibility of top management staff, or top management as it were, who plan, organize, monitor, control activities, and provide leadership to achieve the strategic goal for the benefit of stakeholders. So at the corporate topmost level, it is the responsibility of the top management to ensure that the aim, the corporate goal of the organization is met. They must employ planning, organizing, monitoring, controlling skills, which are quite administrative in nature, in order to drive this course. Performance management at a business level, according to Armstrong, provide the medium for linking employee performance targets to the factor crucial to the success of the business. Performance management at the individual level, lastly, is a means of achieving a better result by understanding and managing performance within an agreed framework of plan goals, standards, and competency requirements. Managing performance within an agreed framework, plan goals, standards, and competency requirements. So there is a requirement, competency requirement, reason why recruitment will help the management to achieve its performance objective. Because how do you get competency requirement done is employing people with required skill, ability, and aptitude to do the job. Because the accumulation of these will form the team's performance, and when you want to go individualistic, then individual performance will also determine the success. And at the end of the day, the total, the entire management, which comprises of all people manning individual departments, individual fields, units, accumulation of these would give the entire management's performance, that is the company as a whole. Performance circle. With this, we've been able to discuss the performance of the organization, or performance management of the organization at different levels. In the organization. The performance management of organization at different levels. I think that's it. We talked about the corporate level. We talked about it as the strategic business units and individual level. Corporate, the entire organization, strategic business units, division, departments, and individual. Companies that use performance pay to determine their compensation, salary, performance induced pay, PIP. That is, your performance will determine what you are earning. So in such organizations, your salary may not be fixed, may not be known until the end of the month, where your performance would be used to judge how much or determine to measure how much an employee will earn as salary. In most organizations, those organizations that engage in this, they usually use individual performance, the team's performance, and the corporate performance to determine how much you earn. So if you are a brilliant performer and you have met your target 100%, if the company is not doing well, or your team, you may not earn your full pay. That is implication. So it has made the process intertwined, such that it is now left in the hands of the HR to get high performers to the organization to drive the process, meet the organization's objective, so that one individual may not be seen as working without result to show, because the result to show for most is, in an environment like this, is the pay they earn. Because if you are giving your best and others are not, the tendency that you earn your full pay is not guaranteed. So we make a progress to performance objectives, performance management objectives. One, to maximize the potential of individuals, teams to benefit themselves and the organization, focusing on the achievement of their objectives. Maximize the potential of individuals and teams to benefit themselves, just like the explanation I gave before this section, and the organization focusing on achievement of their objective. That is one. We have two, proactively managing and resourcing performance against agreed accountabilities and objectives. Proactively managing and resourcing performance against agreed accountability, abilities and objectives. Three, it increases employee engagement. The objective is to increase employee engagement. We also have develop clear role definitions. Clear role definition, because if your role is not clear, objectives or performance management. Clear role definition. Develop clear role definition. And expectations and goals. Also, develop managerial leadership and coaching skills. It will also help boost productivity through objective performance. Boost objectivity through improved performance. Let's move to performance circle. Performance circle, there are specific performance processes that take place in the performance management circle. The processes managers engage in circle include performance and development agreements, performance planning, personal development planning, manage performance throughout the year, conduct performance reviews, and assess performance. So performance management circle, you define one, the role definition. After defining the role definition, then you move to performance planning. Where the line managers would also put in place performance review processes, and also personal development planning. So the circle is in this format: personal development planning. Then in between you have performance monitoring. Performance monitoring and performance review. While planning, the stakeholders agreed on objectives and competency requirements as expressed in the role profile. That is, you identify the behavior, produce projects, expressed in performance agreement for meeting objectives and improving performance. Then you monitor, because the planning is key. Monitoring is also very key. Efforts are made to check the progress being made in achieving objectives and responding to new demands, because in the process of executing the plan, because the corporate environment evolves at will, there may be need for new demands in meeting that corporate objective through the planning. So performance management is treated as a continuous process because it's not one-off. That is, performance is managed all year round. It's managed all year round. Performance is managed all year round rather than annual appraisal, rather than the usual annual appraisal. And when you talk about review, performance review, it is the stock-taking stage where discussion of progress and achievement are held in review meetings. The aim is to identify areas where corrective actions are needed to improve performance. Performance management circle is a model that allows management and employees to better achieve organizational goals through a structured process of employee development. We have discussed the stages in performance management when we discussed planning, monitoring, and review. Now let's talk about role definition. Stakeholders agreed on objectives and competencies requirements as expressed in role profile, which identifies the required behavior. Produce project expressed in performance agreement for meeting objectives and improving performance. Prepare personal development plans to enhance knowledge, skills, competence, and reinforce the desired behavior. This could be achieved through training and retraining. Acts. Work and responsibility required to accomplish objectives are carried out by reference to plans and in response to new demands. We talked about how new demands could arise while executing the performance plan. So we move to performance management process, which includes the following actions: developing clear job descriptions, an employee performance plan, which includes the key results areas, KRA, and performance indicators. Selection of a right set of people by implementing an appropriate selection process. We talked about this and the impact to performance management of the entire team when negotiating requirements and performance standards for measuring the outcome and the overall productivity against predefined benchmarks. Then let's move to performance objective setting. Performance objectives setting. Objectives or goal describe what needs to be accomplished. It defines expectations, intent of key results. These objectives are set at three different levels. We talked about the corporates, the business units, and the individual levels. So, criteria for setting targets. Many organizations use SMART to summarize the criteria for setting objectives. However, recently, new standard has been brought up that involves the ER to make it smarter objectives. In the course of this presentation, we will buttress on this. But for now, let's go back to the SMART, which is the focus of this paper. But to align the paper to the latest discovery within the performance management spectrum, there is need to talk about the SMARTer objective. SMARTer objectives will need to include evaluation for the E, which must be regular, and reward for the E. For the R, I beg your pardon, E evaluation, then R for reward. Specific. S for specific stands for specific, must be clear, unambiguous, straightforward, understandable, and challenging. For M, measurable, it must be quantitative or qualitative in terms of time, price, and money. Ability to measure time, price, money, number, percentage, and unit, etc. A, we have achievable, challenging but within reach of a competent and committed personnel. So you don't give the job decision of the manager to an entry-level staff, and you want the entry-level staff to deliver on it. You need to make it challenging, but must be within competent and the knowledge skill required to commit to that task to ensure successful completion. Then we move to R, which is relevant. Must be relevant to the objective of the organization so that the goal of the individual is aligned to corporate goals. Then we have time bound. It must have a specific time frame for completion or for achieving an objective. Must have that in place. Agreed timeline. This is very key, important in all objective or performance planning sessions. There must be a time. Remember that performance management is continuous. Employees, managers are given tasks. They have their daily responsibilities with different deadlines, timelines. And these timelines must always be tied to a specific objective. Even in project management, there is commencement period and delivery period for all projects, because projects are not done forever. There may be one or two reasons why or a project is brought up. It could be for project introduction of a new product to the company and is handled as a project. There must be commencement and there must be the end period. So after which we talk about evaluation and reward, where performance are evaluated to meet the set objectives. That is, you have measured, you have achieved, and you see it, discover that whatever they have achieved is irrelevant to the goals and objectives of the organization, and they met it within required time. It could be quarterly, it could be biannual, it could be annual, it could be monthly, it could be daily, it could be weekly, depending on the nature of the task. When evaluation is done, then those that met reasonably the following conditions should be rewarded. It could be training, it could be promotion, it could be bonus, it could be recognition. The reward is very, 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 very essential in this regard to make the process complete and to spur others into achieving theirs. You can ask the employee for lessons learned while executing the objective. What would they do differently next time? Why? What could they manage easily? What were the main obstacles after the task? This is when the task has been delivered. How have they been able to overcome them? What have they learned? If the objective is reached, explain the type of reward that the employee can expect. Impact of the evaluation on the possible promotion or mobility, extend responsibility and autonomy on similar activities at the next opportunity, monetary compensation, and in any case, recognize the accomplishment. It is important to praise the employee for his performance, especially when outstanding. On the other hand, if the outcome are below expectation, it is crucial to run full review with your employees to understand what went wrong and why. The evaluation would throw this up. Ask penetrating questions to get to the essence of the issue and share knowledge or ideas on what could have been done differently. The discussion allows you to revisit the objective in order to draw the appropriate conclusions and should become the basis for defining new goals that will help the organization or your employees to improve the area of that is identified as weak. Types of objectives. Work objectives. All work have inbuilt or built-in objectives that may be expressed as key result areas in work. 2. Targets. These define the quantifiable result to be attained as measured in such terms as outputs, income, sales, level of service delivery, and cost reduction. The objective could be to improve the output or to generate more income, to generate more sales. It could be to improve on the level of customer service or service delivery within the organization. And also, target could be reducing the costs of expenditure in a particular division or department, unit as it were. Tasks, projects. Objective can be set for the completion of tasks or project by a specific date. This is more time bound. Then we have, this should be 4, behavioral. Behavioral expectations are often set out generally in competency framework, but they may also be defined individually. when we talk about competency framework, which may be a competency framework may deal with areas of behavior associated with core values. Core values. For example, teamwork, core values themselves are the reflection of desirable and undesirable behavior, which can help in planning and reviewing performance. Desirable and undesirable behavior, which can help in planning and reviewing performance. Performance alignment with corporate objective is cascading. A performance management process sets the platform for reviewing excellence by aligning individual employee accomplishments with the organization's mission and objectives, and making the employee and the organization understand the importance of a specific job in realizing outcomes. By establishing clear performance expectations, performance expectations, which include results, actions, and behavior. It helps the employee to understand what exactly is expected out of their jobs and setting of standards to assist in eliminating those jobs which are of no use any longer. This is achievable through regular feedback and coaching. It provides an advantage of diagnosing the problem at early stage and taking corrective actions.